Hallo Leute, wir kommen aus Italien und wir sprechen nicht Deutsch, also wir werden in Englisch sprechen.
Let me ask you a question. Why should we ever care about future generations? What did they ever do for us? I don't think, you think that's a pretty obvious question, and it is, but that seems to be the attitude that governments are taking. They don't care about the future generations. They don't care about us. It's like the older generations had a party at our house, made a complete mess, and then just left.
But this mess just can't be cleaned up, and this disaster affects the entire world. Not one single country, not one single industry, not one single technology can solve this problem alone. This emergency requires a global, coordinated approach, which we are not seeing. Our way of life is destroying global ecosystem on which we do depend. That is a crime against the biodiversity, against nature, and against humanity itself.
We have been involved in Fridays for Future in Italy since the very beginning. This whole time, we've been invited to talk to many politicians and institutions. Although there have been some doubters, generally politicians have told us that we were right, that our future is important and an action needs to be taken. They have told us that the Italian government is doing everything it can to lower emissions, but that is simply not true. What they are doing, or rather what they are not doing, we're not doing joke. In Italy, we are not meeting the IPCC targets by far. We are not meeting the Paris Agreement. We, or rather our Senate, is not even declaring a climate emergency. Does that sound familiar? Because it's time here, but it's the same here in most other countries. Even Pope Francis and the Dalai Lama are bringing attention to the emergency, which politicians are failing to see and to act on. Just a few days ago, Pope Francis declared climate emergency.
Instead, what is our government saying? It's saying that it's up to the citizens to change their habits. But we can't rely on individual actions. As important as they are, it's just not enough. We cannot accept the fact that the government shifts the responsibility away from itself and away from the fossil fuel industries on the citizens. We cannot accept that the markets make a transition to a sustainable lifestyle and affordable. And we cannot accept that everything is sold in layers of unnecessary plastics and public transport is unavailable or too expensive. We cannot accept all that!
That is why in Italy, on March 15th, over 470,000 people of all ages and backgrounds took to the streets and joined the strike against the political inaction towards the climate emergency. That's why we are all here today. We are in a point in history where actions and decisions taken today will have drastic effect on the future we all will live in.
So, I'm 14 years old, so politicians don't care about what I think, because I don't have a vote. I cannot decide for my own future. It is being decided for me. It is being destroyed. And that is why we strike and protest every single day, every single Friday in over 160 cities in Italy and all over the world. As a global movement, it is the only way we can make our voices heard and actually listened to in this system. As a global movement, Fridays for Future is having a huge impact. We are raising awareness about the climate emergency and we are inspiring change. So now we must fight harder than we've ever done. So, everyone,
What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want? Where do we want it?
grazie mille.
E un saluto a tutti gli italiani che scendono in piazza.